Welcome to CPS360. I'm Olivia Swearingen, and we have a great show in store for you today. First up is a heartwarming story from Katie Clucking about a beloved Rockbridge teacher retiring this year.
As the school year is ending, many students have to say goodbye to the wonderful teachers for the summer. But one special person will not be returning to Rockbridge High School, Karen Morton, the athletic secretary. She is retiring after the 2018 school year.
You just make the kids feel so comfortable, and they just love coming to you with anything and everything, and you are just so great with them. But business-related stuff, you get all the buses together for all of the sports that all of the kids do. You excuse them from their sport. You make sure they're mission eligible for that sport. You put together bus manifests. There's just so many things that go into getting the kids where they need to be for all their sport activities. It's just amazing what you do.
Miss Morton, also known as PMA, is loved by many of the student athletes.
Mrs. Morton is absolutely the best athletic secretary ever. She's always so kind and always looks out for the athletes and helps them get all their paperwork turned in. And she also is just a great moral support. If you need anything, she is always there, available to talk to you, whether it's about sports or about life or school. And she's just an absolute wonderful person to have in the building.
Miss Morton cares about each and every student as if they were one of her own grandbabies.
Miss Morton was very helpful for me. She helped me because I was a new student, and she just took me in and showed me around the school and stayed by my side.
Thank you, Miss Morton, for everything you do. Reporting from CPS360, Katie Clucking.
It's great to see a teacher really bond with her students and staff. Rockbridge will greatly miss Mrs. Morton. Up next is a story by Faith Wright about the detailed process of obtaining the perfect prom dress.
Stevens College School of Design students make prom dresses for local high school girls to wear on their special night. Michaela Smith is very impressed with this experience.
I feel like I got a very exclusive fabric choice. She went out of state to get it. She was able to provide me a sketch the first day that I came and visited with her.
Toby Roberts is a senior in the fashion program and loves prom season with the busyness, putting her skills to the test. She currently has 14 clients that she's making dresses for and works hard to produce the perfect product for each client, knowing they will enjoy it customly made for them. The creator herself talks about the design process.
So I start first with actually meeting with the client. I want to know what their vision is, what they're looking for, what they love about their body, what they don't love about their body, and then I go from there. I have about 4 to 5 fittings for each design. 2 or 3 of those are usually in muslin, which is just undyed cotton fabric, and that's just to get the shape and to make sure, like, as it's going, people are actually enjoying the design and they like the way it looks on their bodies. So that's one of the most important parts. And then after that, there's 2 fittings in the final fabric, possibly 3, and they get the design from there.
Mary Gray, a battle student, didn't know exactly what she wanted in a dress, so she drew inspiration from others to get certain aspects she loved.
I will say social media has influenced the style of dress that I want. Like, I see all these girls get these big grand dresses, and most of them are custom made, so I was like, okay, I know for sure I want a custom made dress. Why not create that?
The finishing product is worth the wait, having assurance that no one else will have your dress the day you're supposed to stand out. Next time you think about buying one from the store, think custom made instead.
What a creative way to make a prom dress. Good job, Faith. Our next story is served to you by Matthew Rothermick about the Hickman tennis team.
There comes a time in every high school athlete's career when their journey comes to an end. This became reality for several members of the Hickman Boys Tennis team. 7 seniors were honored on senior night, a time for many to reflect and enjoy playing tennis on their home court for one more time.
It's been a little different from a lot of high schools because we've switched coaches a few times. And coming in freshman year, every freshman's like a little cocky, and it kind of taught me discipline, kind of humbled me a little bit, and it also kind of gave me a community that was wider than like most classes can give because it's 4 years of students all together.
For both Johnny Pascalia and James Tipton, the 4-year seniors have grown a tremendous amount through their time here at Hickman.
Hickman, my freshman year, was number 8 on the team. A lot of the seniors that year kind of took me under their wing and just kind of led me along with the team. Got a lot of good experience then, and every year I've kind of developed more as a player and as a leader, to know more about the sport.
All of the seniors have fun, vivid memories of their time with Hickman Tennis.
Traveling, we always bring bagels, and one time Johnny ate 6 bagels, and I had 8 bagels. So really just eating a lot of bagels and then making each other for not feeling good while we're playing. It was really just one of my fondest memories.
Their season, however, is not quite done, as many of the Cupies still have plenty of goals for the end of the season.
I'd love to make it to sectionals if I can. I know we got a hard districts with Rockbridge in there, but I'd love to make it out of sectionals, or make it out of districts, whether that's for doubles, singles, or as a team.
As another year of Hickman Boys Tennis comes to an end, for some the book closes, while for others a new chapter has just begun. With CPS360, I'm Matthew Rothermick.
Hickman is full of talented athletes, including their state champ wrestler. For his last feature on CPS360, Kieran Malloy brings us a talented wrestler's story.
Jeremiah Kent took his first steps on the wrestling mat only 4 short years ago, and today he reigns supreme as one of the best wrestlers in the nation. This season, he came to the culmination of his career by making it to the Missouri Class 4 State Championship.
Eighth grade year, friends kept telling me to join the sport. I didn't give it a shot then. I believe Derek Strawn, he asked me 8th grade year, and I said no, I'm not doing it. Freshman year, he was still asking me. Then I went in with a couple football players, and from there on, I just wrestled.
When he first arrived in the wrestling room, the coaches and all of us kind of looked at each other and said, "This kid's got talent. He's a raw athlete. Probably could have picked out a lot of sports and been just as good, but I decided he wanted to try wrestling, and with his athletic ability and his mindset to want to be good and always want to succeed, we could see it right away that this kid was something special."
So when I first met Jeremiah, he was just super nice to me. I mean, didn't try to say he was the upperclassman, I'm the D1 wrestler, He was just super nice overall, and he was just really cool.
From the moment he had his arm raised for the first time, the QP community knew that they had something special in their midst.
Really, parents and coaches, they seen potential in me, which at the time I was losing so much that I didn't really see any potential. I was just kind of like, forget what they're saying.
State champion class 3 at 170 pounds.
Jeremiah's impressive athletic talent has not gone unnoticed, and this fall he signed on to continue his wrestling career at the University of Missouri, a top 5 program nationally.
No, I think as a coach, it's kind of funny. We talked about this last night. He and I did at the banquet. And as a coach, it's we always wanted to win the state title, go undefeated. That's a great thing. I think for us to watch him be able to continue his education at the University of Missouri, seeing where he came from, and now having basically a full ride paid for to go wrestle, but more importantly, get an education.
This February, Jeremiah achieved his sophomore goal and became the Class 4 state champion at 170 pounds. His victory was a dominant one and was celebrated with a whole crib of Cupies in the stands. Kent's journey into the rest of his career is a promising one as he goes into college a relatively blank slate with bounds of potential.
14-8 winner Jeremiah Kent, Columbia.
With CPS360, I'm Kieran Malloy.
What a great story on such a great athlete. I got the chance to follow around some athletes of my own last weekend for our next story on the Columbia Performing Arts Center competition team.
One of Columbia's local dance teams, Columbia Performing Arts Center, travels almost every weekend around the U.S. to compete. These weekends are long and full of activity for these dancers.
So on Fridays we drive up and solos, trios, and duos compete. And then we go to bed, wake up early in the morning, and we take classes all day. And then after that we eat, and then we compete late at night, and then we have awards at like midnight. And then we go to bed, and we wake up the next morning and do classes all day again. And then sometimes you get to re-perform, and then you drive home.
Weekends may be tiring, but these dancers can't help but love their team.
What I love most about my team is how supportive everyone is of each other. everyone's very supportive of each other.
I love the community, and I love just how supportive we are of each other and the love and support we have.
CPAC also happens to fare very nicely when it comes to winning competitions and setting a higher bar for other teams.
I think there's several things that are different between us and other studios. I like to think we're very diverse in what we do. So my big role as competition director has always been to make us a well-rounded team. So my kids I like to say they take you on a journey. So all of our dances are completely different. So you're gonna go from one, not only mood, but one style of dance, and you're gonna see the same kids do a completely opposite one, something in the middle. My kids tap. They're just all around diverse, and they just commit to every single, there's not one dance that they're like, oh, this is the dance we're really committing to, and this is the one, I don't know, say, of course you're going to have your favorite, but every one of them they put their heart and soul into, and it's literally like watching a whole, almost like a concert.
Lastly, we cannot forget all the love and support dancers' moms provide for the weekend.
It's very busy. You would think that it wouldn't be because we don't really do anything, but yet we do. We get the girls there. We make sure they get to bed, get rest, feed them in the morning, always make sure we got food and water for them, help them with their costumes, help organize everything, and then of course the biggest task of all at the end, they're at their workshops and we're packing up the hotel room, packing up the car, getting ready to drive home.
We wish the best for CPAC and the rest of their season. I'm Olivia Swearingen, signing off.
What an impressive team. Luckily, our next story follows more dancers with the addition of singers and musicians. Brendan Eggerding covered the annual Caper Show at Rockbridge High School.
Every year, Rockbridge hosts its own talent show called Capers. The show primarily focuses on the arts like music, poetry, and dancing. Many students perform in this event in order to showcase their talents. The performances can be both serious and funny. In all, this event showcases the talent that Rockbridge has to offer.
I sang a duet with Hannah, and we sang If I Were a Boy by Beyonce, and she played guitar, and Wolf Schaefer played the drums, and I sang. And she sang too.
As you know, Capers is a talent show that showcases the many different arts here at Rockbridge. Students like to show their various skills in different arts. However, what they perform is very true to them, and the reasoning behind it is much greater than you might think.
I sang a Billie Eilish song called I Don't Want to Be You Anymore, and it's kind of about just not really wanting to fit into a certain mold, and it's something that I resonated with and a message that I felt could connect with a lot of other people my age.
Standing out in front of a crowd and performing in front of a live audience can scare a lot of people, but when I asked these people who performed at Capers about why they'd recommend it, they all gave me positive reviews that even have me thinking about doing it.
It's super fun. You get to meet a whole bunch of new people. There's like a couple rehearsal nights that are a bunch of fun too. You get to meet the band kids, people you wouldn't know on a regular basis.
You should, because it's a really good experience if you're not that good at performing. If you want to go into performing later but you don't have much experience, I think it's really good for that because it's your friends there.
Capers is a great event for students who have talents when it comes to the arts. They can perform in front of a live audience, which can help them in the future if they decide to go down that field. Overall, Capers is a fun experience for many students, and more should come.
That looks like such an entertaining show. Our last story comes to you from DJ Baker as he covered a very unique aspect of track.
A new event has been added to the spring sport of track and field. Javelin has finally been allowed in the state of Missouri, and Rockbridge has picked it up along with it. Javelin requires a different type of moves than other throws.
Javelin is probably more correlative to what you do when you're pole vaulting, sprinting, doing hurdles, that sort of thing. There's more forward movement versus turning and direct action right away.
Javelin is different from other throws. Instead of using a circle like shot put and discus use, it uses a 60-meter runway in which athletes can run up and throw. This forces athletes to have more coordination with their throws compared to other throwing activities.
Javelin, you have to have a lot more technique about everything you do. One little mess up can mess up your whole entire throw. A lot of people think about it as just the power aspect, but it's more you have to be in sync with your upper body and your lower body.
With the need for more technique, training is a lot more skill-based rather than strength-based.
Some of the workouts we do to get better. We do a lot of footwork stuff because as of now, like what I've been learning, it's been a lot of footwork, and if you don't really have good footwork, you don't have good technique. So A lot of it's based on footwork. We do a lot of 3 steps, 5 steps, and then we move on to running into the throws. And I'm just now learning that right now. It's been a difficult process, but just a lot of footwork stuff that we have to work on.
The javelin may not be for all track programs due to the required facilities as well as the cost of a javelin.
They vary in cost, so of the throwing events, the javelin is one of the more expensive ones when you're buying them. They can vary anywhere from being in a couple $100 range to over $1,000, just depending on what you're getting.
We wish the best of luck to all CPS athletes throwing the newly instated javelin.
Great job, DJ. Well, that's it for this episode of CPS 360. I'm Olivia Swearingen, and I'll see you next time.